What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be reviewing the one, the only, the classic Halloween. That's from the original TV spots, in case you're wondering. In case you didn't know that, little bit of Halloween trivia for you.
I got it.
That's from, that just happened to hit me at the time. That was not planned. I'm proud of myself, actually. Before we dive into our review today, just a friendly reminder, we do need a membership program for as low as $2 a month. You can directly support the channel. Also, all reviews, so we're reviewing the entire Halloween franchise. Every single one after this will be available exclusively for members, $5 and up, the Julie James tier or higher. So yeah, go consider joining. Click the join button below or the link at the top of the description. Also, thank you if you are a member. To all you out there, thank you so much for your support. You keep the channel alive. Let's dive in. So, when you talk about Halloween, especially when it's us, it's pretty common knowledge that Halloween's like my favorite movie ever. So obviously I like this movie, but I don't know if we really get a chance to talk about why I like it and why I think it's better than all the Friday the 13th movies. For example, for some reason, people think that because of the way we cover Friday the 13th, that it's absolutely our favorite movies of all time, and that's just not the case. Love it.
My favorite franchise.
I don't even know what my favorite franchise is, honestly. I honestly don't have an answer to that, but I do love those movies.
Yeah.
Are they bad? Yeah, they're pretty bad. Most slasher films usually end up being bad, but we enjoy them because we're campy horror fans, and that's what we do.
Yes.
Halloween is just not that case. From the second the movie starts, you know you're in for something special. First movie to really take advantage of the Panaglide. It was a brand new system at the time because they had Dean Cundey, which, by the way, I think Dean Cundey is a massive piece to the puzzle that honest to God, I don't think he gets enough attention for Halloween. You talk about Dean Cundey, you're like, hey, Jurassic Park. Hey, Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But Halloween doesn't come up, but without Dean Cundey, Halloween would not be nearly as good as it is.
Yeah. I actually wrote a paper on Halloween 3, but also had a whole page pretty much dedicated to Dean Cundey and how he is amazing.
He's to this day is my favorite cinematographer.
Same.
All my favorite films, Dean Cundey has been a part of pretty much all of them. Dean Cundey has been a part of, and the guy's just is a free. First of all, you start off with the opening scene. You got the Panaglide, which is already extremely ambitious at the time. If you actually dig into that scene more, it's so difficult because it's a total of 3 cuts. I believe it's 3 different shots. And in the way they had to maneuver lights, I think it's cool when you hear Jamie Lee Curtis talk about it, because it was just an independent film, just a bunch of young kids making a movie, which that's awesome, by the way, because we can relate to that, the challenge that comes with that, and working with people that, there's not much of a salary there. You're just kind of doing it because you want to make something.
Yeah. And
I think Jamie Lee Curtis talking about how she was one of the people moving things around to make that shot work. And it's cool. It's crazy. It works. The stabbing... Of course, you should be able to point out the flaws of this movie as well, which we'll talk about. But the stabbing's a little bit weird, of course. Everyone talks about it all the time. Why are you looking up at the knife? Because it's supposed to be a POV. But
it feels like 1970s horror. That's what horror was. You get those cheesy establishing the horror shots, really.
Yeah.
And looking at the knife like that, that's...
It wasn't cheesy then, let me tell you. That was shit was scary.
Definitely not.
Then I think it's the fact that we just jump in, right? We start the movie off with that. There's no context.
Michael?
Michael. We don't know anything. It's just a kid, and just no dialogue there to establish that maybe Michael had a bad day today. No, no, it was nothing like that.
He was abused.
Yeah, it was nothing like that. You just kind of did it. That's something I will when you compare, which we'll have we've done remakes versus originals for a Halloween, and this could kind of serve like that. This is way back when. People ask all the time for the remake of Halloween with Rob Zombie's remake. And I could get through it, but it's definitely not all that good. And to me, that is the biggest flaw, is the fact that they gave him a motive that we can relate to. You got a white trash family getting your ass whooped by your stepdad, shit like that. I could see how you get into being an abusive douchebag later in life, maybe even a killer.
It's modern.
Yeah, it's just, the fact that Michael in the original Halloween just snaps, no context, just does it, kills his sister, skedaddle, that's scary.
Yeah, and then years later he just continues where he left off.
Yeah, Also, before we move on from the opening scene, I do want to address the fact that it is probably the fastest sex sequence in the history of cinema. I just think that's really important. It's roughly 40 seconds, 45 seconds. He gets in and out of there. And, it'd be one thing. All right, listen, this is for all you 12-year-olds, quit listening. All right, but, like, it'd be one thing, right, if he just, like, unzipped his pants and went and got it done. But he was, like, putting his shirt back on when leaving.
Yeah.
Right? So we could assume that he was fully undressed. So he fully undressed, had sex, and got back dressed in, like, 40 seconds.
What a king!
What a time! What a
What a
time! But then we go to the future. All right, we skip ahead to when Michael is now 21 years old, and it's been 15 years. And when you're going in with Dr. Loomis, first of all, Dr. Loomis in this whole film, Donald Pleasance, without him, the character probably wouldn't be nearly as good. Who was supposed to play him? What's that guy's name? Count Dooku? Shit.
Fuck.
Unbelievably famous. I don't know why I'm zoning out his name right now.
Fuck.
But Count Dooku, which is, by the way, one of his worst roles. But that's the one that comes to my head.
Damn it.
He was. Fuck. They wanted him to do it. And then, by the way, that's why the budgets. It was supposed to be a $300,000 budget for Halloween. It's $325 now officially because they got $25,000 more just to pay Donald Pleasance.
Yep.
But incredible monologues. He delivers it perfectly. And going into, I think it's still to this day to me creepy when you watch a scene where he jumps on the car and shit and there's people out in their gowns.
Yeah.
It's a creepy sequence. It's very similar to those that keep asking about American Horror Story 1984. We see a huge homage to that. That they're playing off there, and it's something about that's just creepy when you have a bunch of like not
crazy
psychopaths, crazy people. There's crazy people out there in their gowns and shit, and then jumping on the car,
breaking the window with his bare hand.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah.
How did he know how to drive?
Wasn't there some backstory?
So if you go into, I believe, the deleted scenes for Halloween 6 or the producer's cut of Halloween 6, it's explained that what the fuck is his name too? Dr. Wynn.
Yeah.
He taught Michael how to drive while at Smith's Grove. Stupid. Never liked that.
Not needed.
Is it like, okay, so if you, I always thought, I was like, man, people know how to drive a fucking car. You get behind a car, you know how to do it. But like, would that really be the case? So if we took a 6-year-old, shut him off from the world, right? He has not seen the outside world in 15 years. Would he be able to get into a car and drive it? Like, how unrealistic is that Michael could drive away? I've always been curious about that. Like, if we actually did that. Because to me, it's like, when we drive for the first time when you're 16 years or 15 years old, you're getting your permit, seems pretty routine. Like, you don't really question it. You know what to do. You know what pedals to press. You know the wheel turns. Like, how long would it really take to figure it out?
Yeah.
You know what would be the hardest part to me is actually putting the car in drive. I think that would be the most confusing part of...
Was that an automatic car?
Was that? I think that... Oh, actually, that's actually a good point, too. 70s may not have been. May have been a manual car. If it's a manual car, that's insane. No way, but it's probably an automatic. But yeah, just side notes. So one thing that's also great about the original Halloween is the fact that, again, as you go into Halloween Day, there's no motive. Literally the only reason... I don't know why he picks Tommy, right? I don't understand why he picked Tommy. Maybe just because he was relatable. I don't know if he was bullied in school, right? And like when he saw him getting bullied that day, he just kept following him. But there was no real motive. Oh, yeah, there was. Just kidding. Ignore what I'm saying. So he spots Lori and Tommy first because they go to his house, right? Like, 'cause she drops off the key. It is a little weird that he continues to follow Tommy back to his school, but like when they go to the house and drop off the key, that's kind of where he just picks them, which is interesting.
I mean, they kind of got the same hairstyle back when he was a kid, and Tommy in present day. They kind of got the same hairstyle. Relatable.
But like really the only reason Michael ever goes after Lori and Tommy is because they dropped the key off at the house and he's happened to be behind the door and saw him. That he followed them. And then Annie and Linda got involved because, they said, "Hey, jerk, speed kills." And then you made him mad.
Yep.
Then you became a target.
Yep.
It's just that simple. There's just no motive, and I think that's so cool. That it doesn't get not until Halloween 2 where you start establishing the whole sibling background, and I think that takes away from it tremendously.
Definitely, yeah.
That's why I think people that are truly diehard fans of the original Halloween were excited by Halloween 2018 and the fact that like they were no longer siblings.
Yeah.
No longer having a motive to Michael makes him just so much scarier. And he wasn't even going after in Halloween 2018. It's all because of Sartain, that fuck.
Yeah.
Not the point. Not the point.
That comes later.
That comes later. Yeah, so you just completely random. You just have him just standing by and just watching and stalking and building up, which is cool.
Yeah, all that build up, and I mean the cinematography with all of that, with the stalking, it's still beautiful.
Yeah, Halloween 2018 replicates the shot right where Michael's out by the car and Laurie looks out the window, and they replicate that, but they have Laurie outside the window. I don't think they did it well enough when I go back and look at it. Like Michael's so far off that you just could barely tell there's like a person there. Like it's just like his face because that white mask stands out. It's not nearly as zoomed out that way. It's not as soulless, not as lifeless.
Mm-hmm.
When they do it with Laurie, I think they should have expanded on. I think they should have done a better job replicating that.
Even a little slower, almost.
Yeah, just like to. I think the whole point is that there is no life to Michael. That there's a piece of human missing there, a piece of his soul missing there. They should establish that more because then Laurie lost part of her soul that night. I'm just saying, want to get deep with it? Want to be symbolic? That's how you do it.
This man is not human.
This man is not human. Yeah. So let's go to the night part. Let's go to the scary stuff. First of all, one of the most beautiful suspense chase scenes in the slasher genre ever is when she's running across the street.
Yeah.
And running away from Michael, trying to get Tommy to come open the door. I think that scene is so fucking suspenseful. And if you watch that in a theater setting, to this day, remains effective.
Yeah, we got the opportunity 2 years ago.
Yeah.
To see the original Halloween the way John Carpenter intended everyone to see it in a theater, in a movie theater, and with the surround sound and everything. And it was just amazing the different things you hear throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
We're going again.
Yeah, we're going again on the 29th in DeKalb. That would be a fun one.
Yes.
It's actually one of the Egyptian theaters, too.
Yes.
That should be cool. Yeah, that's an experience. So, like, one of the most famous scenes in Halloween history in the entire franchise is when Bob's death. When you have Bob's death, and when you're watching that in theaters, I never notice how much you hear Michael breathing in that scene until, you notice, right? Like you've heard it like just subtly before, but when you are in a theater, it's like behind you in the rear speakers there.
You can hear him shifting.
Yeah, it's crazy how much like attention to sound there is in that movie that people don't ever notice because they're not watching it either with a freak surround sound system. I heard it now with this recent new soundbar we have in the 4K release of the movie. I could hear it. Never was able to hear it before that.
It also helps that you heard it. So now
now I'm
looking
listening.
for it.
Yeah, now I'm listening for it. Yeah,
but yeah, definitely if you have a chance to go see Halloween in a movie theater, do it.
Yeah,
do it.
100%. Speaking of which, that Bob scene after he dies, we have the head tilt, right? It's become a cliche now to observe your victims like that. But classic at the time. Doesn't make much sense, the fact that he's able to just hang up on the door like that with just a regular butcher knife, but who cares? Because it's fucking awesome. And it's such a classic shot. The wide shot of him just looking there, tilting his head. You have all the use of blue. The use of blue lighting in this film contrasts with the orange leaves of fall. Insane. Beautiful. Extremely effective, especially on the white face of Michael.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the mask is like extremely key to this. They were talking about using a clown mask before. Like, imagine that. Would we still be talking about it, or would we still see Michael masks being sold to this day if they were just cheap clown masks? No. Not like the old William Shatner mask is key to that.
Yeah, it's just iconic in itself.
Yeah, it's so good choice there, and then you mix in Dean Cunny's lighting with it.
Yes.
It's just amazing stuff. Speaking of which, in terms of lighting, another super classic shot that just shows how powerful the film is when it's right after they have the whole beat down. All right, she stabs him, and then he gets back. He's getting back up. She has no idea. Laurie has no idea. Michael's behind her, And he comes up through the dark shadows there, and it's just a dimmer. It's just that light dimmer slowly coming up on Michael's face.
Yeah.
And right before he stabs her, he cuts her arm.
Mm-hmm.
It's epic. It's epic stuff.
And that's really, besides maybe at the beginning with Judas' death, the most amount of blood you see.
It is. That's another thing, dude. You by the time you get done with Halloween, you think you just saw a bloodbath. Like you think you just saw a shit ton of blood. But like that's it, man. Like you see you see that blood there. Then with his sister when he kills his sister in the beginning, and that's like it.
Yeah, Judith.
Yeah, when Judith dies. Yep.
And then when Laurie gets her arm cut, and other than that, it's.
You try to think about other times in that movie where you see blood.
It's just not seen. I mean, either they get choked,
it's all right
or
here, man.
It's just not shown, and it obviously didn't need to be shown because it was so effective.
Yeah, like even Bob's death.
Like really, blood should be pouring out.
Yeah, but it doesn't, and he does need to be because we are mentally thinking about all we need to. It's all there. Like you're gonna think you saw it, and that's exactly. It's a lot of what's missing today in horror is like. Sometimes what we don't see is the scariest.
Yeah.
And like Halloween just nails that. And a lot of it is just for budget saving, but like that's genuine suspense. Yeah. Then you go into the ending, and this is when he's getting shot. All right. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This man is not human. A little bit of an awkward stunt as he walks off, of course, but he's just gone.
Good old Jim Winburn.
Yeah, Jim Winburn. What a stunt! What a stunt!
I mean, iconic.
Yeah,
and then he's just gone.
It ends in the perfect way, right?
Yes.
Like he goes, he looks. He's not shocked when Michael's gone. He's just like, "Yep, he's not human. He's gone. The man's gone from here." And then it just cuts to like. It goes back to all the scenes where we were earlier in the film. You see the living room. You see the bedroom.
The steps. You're seeing him at the top of the steps.
Yeah, and the whole time, just hearing his breathing. It's a perfect way to end a film.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. There's another point I wanted to make, but I totally forgot what it was. Man.
Score.
Score. Oh, of course the fucking score. One of the best scores in history, yet so simplistic.
Yeah.
People always talk about the Halloween theme, and it's heard you're gonna hear it all this fucking month, I promise, at every goddamn Halloween store,
Spirit
haunted house, everywhere it's gonna be playing that shit on loop. But I think it's actually one of the weaker songs in the entire score. Maybe it's because I've heard it so much, but I think like the Shape Stalks or Haunted House, those two I think are more suspenseful and really build up tension.
And they're just as simple.
Just dead end. Yeah, like that's all it is, but it's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. God, I wish I could remember the fucking point I wanted to make.
If we had, our hours that we normally talk about these types of things, I'm sure we would have hit every point we wanted to hit.
No, we could literally go scene by scene if we really wanted to.
If you want to see it.
Be like a make every death count kind of thing.
Yeah.
To do that. Damn it. This was a really good point that I wanted to make sure I brought up. Damn it. All right, let's go into some of the cons, and maybe it'll hit me, and I'll be like, oh, wait, here's another good thing. Some of the cons, first of all, some of the acting is weak, right? Like, we can all admit that there are some just, like, newbie acting going on here. A lot of that coming from not so much Jamie Lee Curtis. She has her moments, right? She has her moments where it's a little all right? But nobody outshines anybody like Donald Pleasance, like, he steals the show, obviously. Yeah. But like Nancy Loomis. Yeah, Nancy Loomis.
Yeah,
not a very outstanding performance. Like when she spills on herself. Lindsay, I need a robe. Lindsay. Yeah, it's not the best in the world. Bob's not all that great. PJ Souls is all right. It's funny because it's obviously like that's how it was in the 70s.
Yeah,
totally. Like that's, but it's so I don't know. Maybe it's like too much. I don't know.
But watch Carrie.
Yeah,
it's the exact same way across the board.
Yeah. So you could argue that. I don't know, especially when she's like dying. Also, when Nancy Loomis dies, a little odd when she's getting choked.
Yeah.
But hey. Every movie's got its flaws. And also the fact that there's shots that have palm trees in it. There are shots where you see John Carpenter's smoke coming in when he's smoking off camera. You see that come into the shot. Just there's some issues. It has its flaws, but it was a $300,000 movie,
independent film
in 1978. So obviously that wasn't shit for money. And but like it still managed to change the entire world of not just horror, but the slasher genre. It created a genre, if you ask me, or perfected it at least. You could argue a bunch of other things for the slasher genre, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You could argue that. You could argue Tommy Boy, whatever. Halloween perfected it. And every movie after that's a complete ripoff.
I mean,
Friday the 13th.
I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah.
What it is.
It spawned a million different ripoffs. And it was just so simple. Also, first movie to really take advantage of the holiday of Halloween. You gotta respect that.
Yeah.
The point that I wanted to make never came back. I'm still extremely upset about it. I want to keep delaying this until I figure out what it was.
If you think of it, you can record yourself separately. Like, I thought of it.
This is Riley from the future just stepping in here to say that I did finally remember what that point was. And it was the fact that Michael takes the bodies of his victims and places them in locations for Laurie to find just because he wants to fuck with her. That was the point I wanted to make. Halloween 2018 finally brings us back. I thought that was really cool. He even goes out so far out of the way in the first Halloween to take Judith's tombstone and put Annie's body with it. That's scary, and that's truly just a very menacing and evil thing to do. It's a lot more than just killing here, but actually mentally torturing his victims too. Okay, continue on. Enjoy. I don't know. It's a great fucking movie, though. And if you really want a rating from us out of 10, I'm going to give it a 10 every time.
Yeah.
It deserves that, and it's the only one in the entire franchise that deserves a score, probably even really close to that high at all. But hey, like I said, we will be diving into the sequels throughout this month, exclusively for members. So like I said, for our $5 and up, our Julie James and higher tier, you could be a part of that as well. Click the join button or a link at the top of the description. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's just to, give back to the people who support us the most.
Yeah, although most people completely understood because they're not dumb, there are some people that are like, oh, Slashcast only cares about its members. We put out 5 to 6 videos, sometimes 7 videos a week, and stream, and all of that's free. That's not going anywhere. This is our way. You pat our back, we want to pat your back. It's just that simple. And like we made it clear, we're not here like this. Having members allows us to not go get jobs, right? Like it allows us to sit here and make content for free. Without members, we can't do that. So with more members, we make more free content. It's just that simple.
And better free content.
And better free content. We're able to put more when we're able to put more time into it.
Look at these mics.
Yeah, it's like
Do
this
we sound good.
This is our full-time job. If you haven't really figured that out, so like. If we're able to put more time into it, not have to, go put time into another job, we're able to make more content for free.
Yep.
See that? Also, we're horror YouTubers and AdSense is limited. So we rely on things like memberships, which is why we had a Patreon before this. See that? It's just that easy. You pat our back, we pat yours. That's going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And we'll see you next time.